Hey everyone, Adam Maynard here, back with another video. Today I want to talk to you about a little known reason why you keep ending up with the same kinds of romantic partners that you do. You know, this is a really common complaint and a really common frustration that clients share with me in relationship coaching sessions. You know, they've noticed that there's this type they have, that they look back over their last couple romantic relationships and they keep ending up with the same kind of partner, and a partner that they ultimately don't like very much for this certain quality or for this certain dynamic that plays out. And so we're going to take a look at this a little more closely today and see if we can understand that dynamic a little bit better, so that you can see it a little differently and see what purpose it might be serving in your life. So if this video appealed to you, chances are you've been in a position before where you've figured out or you've discovered over time that someone that you're involved with shares a common quality or a common trait or a common pattern with an ex of yours, and that quality or trait or pattern is the reason that things didn't really work out between the two of you. It's something that you've been trying to quote unquote work on. It's something that you've been trying to kind of transcend or grow out of. And when you find yourself back in that position with a new person, it can be doubly uncomfortable. One, because you're just experiencing the discomfort of that trait in the first place. But then there's this extra element, there's this extra layer where there's this temptation to, kind of beat up on yourself, or to internalize that and wonder, what am I doing here? What am I doing here that I keep ending up with the same type of girl or the same type of guy? And I thought I was over this. I thought I was done with this. What's really going on here? Why have I found myself here once again? There can be a temptation to feel really guilty about that, and there can be a temptation to take responsibility for that and say, man, I must not be as far along as I thought I was. I must not be. I must not have transcended this. If I'm still attracting this type of partner, if I still find this type of partner appealing, I may not have grown out of the thing that I've been trying to work on all this time. And while there's absolutely some value in checking in with yourself to make sure that you're being honest as you go along in the courtship process and in the dating process, and that you are kind of seeing people with clear eyes and you're not in denial about any of the things that you're bringing your awareness to, there's another aspect of this, and there's another way of looking at this type of pattern, this type of situation that I want to share with you, because one that releases you from the guilt, one that releases you from the shame, one that releases you from the confusion, and one that releases you ultimately from the responsibility or from the perception that you aren't making progress in the direction that you truly desire, and that you aren't overcoming the uncomfortable patterns that you have identified and really want to work past, because who likes getting caught up in uncomfortable patterns in their lives? That's what personal growth and development is all about. And if we can see it that way, then this experience and this patterning and this repetition won't seem like a step back. It'll actually seem like a step forward. So what's happening when we first become aware that a pattern might be repeating? Situationally, it looks very similar to one that's come before. Maybe we keep having the same types of arguments with our partners, or maybe we feel similarly shut down by them like we did with an ex of ours. Or maybe the same types of feelings are coming up for us, be they feelings of sadness, pain, or disappointment. Whatever it is, the relational room we're in looks very familiar, and that familiarity is what's unsettling to us. We think we've graduated to the next room. We think we've escaped the room we've been in with our ex, but suddenly it looks really familiar, and oh no, are we here again? How did we end up here again? What's going on? But this is a way that this is actually a way that self-mastery works in our lives. This is actually a way that personal growth and development looks in our lives. And it's really subtle, but there are some key differences that I think will be the thing that facilitates the shift in perspective from feeling like you're stuck to feeling like you're actually moving in the direction that you want to be moving. Because when we're really trying to overcome something, as much as we might like to think that we can transcend it with a single choice, we may need more trials, we may need more repetition. And that repetition isn't a sign that we're not growing, that we're not changing, that we're not learning, that we're not overcoming that element of our relationships. It's just a sign that we're mastering a new element of it. And we can ask ourselves some key questions about what that element might be. In this new relationship, in this new situation we found ourselves in, did it take us 2 years to figure out what was going on? Or did it take us 2 months? That's progress. In the new situation, did we deny the truth that was revealed to us and pretend like it wasn't there? Or did we immediately admit it and receive it and acknowledge it to the point where we could actually do something about it? That's progress too. Were we able to recognize the existence of those kind of fundamental incompatibilities or those undesired qualities with partners who exhibited many more positive qualities than our ex, many more qualities that were actually really attractive and really alluring, and qualities that we were really curious about and that we really appreciated, and ones that might be tempting to get us to stay, but once we became aware of that underlying fundamental incompatibility, the evidence of the pattern still existing here with this great person, this person that, gosh, this is really hard, but I still have to make this choice for myself. These are all situations that are different from our past relationships. These are all situations that are different from our past partners. These are all situations that are different in important ways than our past dynamics, if only because of our interactions with them and the way that we are relating to them and the way that we are making choices about them differently than we would have made them before. And this is really how true growth works, right? This is really how true self-mastery works. It's not enough just to kind of perfect the response in a single scenario. You need to be able to perfect that response in any number of scenarios and with any number of people, with any number of dynamics, with any number of qualities, with any number of situations. You need to be able to consider it from all angles, to be aware of it in all situations, because if you aren't, it'll come up for you and it'll still hold power over you. And if you want to truly transcend the dynamic, it will be this process of repetition. The repetition is progress. So if you find yourself in a position that looks familiar and that dread starts to bubble up that says, oh no, I'm here again, it's really important that you try and identify which aspect of the current situation is actually different than the one that's come before. However minute the detail, however subtle the circumstantial change is, that's your new challenge, that's your new trial, to the point where you can see your current circumstance not as a complete repetition of what's come before, but as a new chapter on the road to true self-mastery in whatever that area is. All right, and so while it's always important to check in with yourself to make sure you are being fully aware and clear-eyed about the situation that you're in, and that you're not kind of self-sabotaging and choosing something that you have chosen before, seeing your relationships and the places that you end up with the people in your lives from this new perspective, I think will really help you not get so stuck in that secondary level of confusion and sadness that come up that says, I'm not making any progress. There's still going to be that first level of, okay, this is something that I have to deal with. This is something that's come up, but you won't be beating up on yourself, and you won't be kind of really caught up in all those stories and all of those all that self-shaming that happens, and you'll be able to more freely and more presently attend to the important part, which is actually mastering the element of the situation that you're in, executing that choice, doing what you need to do, not getting caught up in the guilt and the shame, but really just proving to yourself that you know what to do because you've been through what you've been before, and you are a new person now, a new person who's able to act the way you will now.